This podcast is brought to you by
PPIS, a non-profit organization committed to support women of all ages navigate their various roles in society, as well as nurturing their children and families.
Share the joy of Ramadan and Shawwal with PPIS Ihsan Ramadhan 2025. Sinari Impian. You can visit them at ppis.sg/PIR. Inspiring women, strengthening families. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Outside In with your host Yanto
and Farah, your go-to source for honest conversations about relationships and marriage.
So if you are ready, let's go.
Alhamdulillah, for another episode.
Another episode di bulan Ramadan ini.
Masya Allah, Ramadan tiba.
Dah nak penghabisan Ramadan, you nak dah tiba Dah tiba lama tau.
Masya Allah. Yes,
okay, yes.
Today is a very special episode.
Kenapa episode special?
Because we have PPIS with us.
Yay! Of course, we like to introduce to our listeners our two very special guests today, Nizam dan juga Saleha. How are you guys today?
Hello.
Okay, before that, shall we introduce you guys?
Maybe Nizam can start first about your role in PPIS.
Hi, I'm Nizam. I'm actually the assistant manager in fundraising PPIS. So my role in PPIS is quite straightforward. So you know that we have 3 core services in PPIS. We have the family services, the student care centres, and the residential facility, which Saleha will speak more about it later. So my role in PPIS is basically to raise funds to continue sustaining these programs and services for our beneficiaries lah.
You're the money man lah kira kan?
Yes, money man, handsome man semua.
Oh wow.
Apa dah cakap handsome man?
Money man, handsome man.
Masya Allah.
We had a little discussion just now that men get better looking when they age, kan?
Of course.
We're also looking forward to going old.
Of course.
Inshallah. Okay, for Saleha pula.
Hello, so I'm Saleha. I am the Centre Manager at Rise Above Halfway House. It's one of the centres of PPIS. In fact, we have been running for about 2 to 3 years now. I'm very excited for today because there's a lot of work that goes on in the background that's done by PPIS. There's a lot of collaboration with various departments, Rise Above and fundraising. But this is, I think, one of the first times where we're coming forward and sharing what we actually do, where funds get channeled, what's the first tips or inside stories, on this platform.
So of course, I think this episode it goes out to siapa-siapa yang mendengar ni, those that are listening to this episode. It's not just for those who are probably in the same situation ke apa, but also for those yang around you, that you see fellow women yang probably facing some internal struggles. You see them facing a lot of emotional challenges, things like that, and then you want to find out how you as a friend or a family member can actually support them. So I think this is one of the beautiful collaboration that we have with PPIS, in particular with Nizam and Saleha, so that we can value add more to not just our friends and family's life, but also our own lives lah, inshallah.
Inshallah, the knowledge lah and the information that we get today will benefit us all.
Inshallah.
Right. So, of course, first of all, I would love to know what is actually Rise Above all about.
So Rise Above is the first secular female halfway house in Singapore.
Oh,
first.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
So this is quite unique. So that means our residents are made up of various ages, ethnicities, and also backgrounds.
Okay.
So I have the whole spectrum at the halfway house. And traditionally or historically in Singapore, most of the halfway houses in Singapore are a lot catered for men.
Okay.
And most of them are faith-based, which means that the programming is very much driven by Muslim faith, by religion, by Buddhist, Christians. So it's very driven in their programming. But ours being a secular space, this is where we are unique lah, because we have residents of all, right? So semua kita celebrate. At the same time, there's so much that we can do because it's secular programming. Build a trauma-informed environment. We're able to cater to women.
Yes.
So, and this is where we receive the women offenders who are in the tail end sentence from Singapore Prison Service to Rise Above, and they stay with us for about 6 to 12 months.
I see.
So during this time, they go through programming lah. They will go through upskilling, preparing to work, time where they can meet and reconnect with their family members. They will start going back to community. So it's like a step down facility, a halfway returning back to the community.
Wow.
It's more like a reintegration for them to practice how to reintegrate back into the society.
Yes.
Right.
So a lot of times, offenders in prison, they will have various rehabilitation programs. And when they come out to the halfway house, we also continue supporting them through these programs.
I see.
Right.
Yeah, because I think one of the things we've learned is that women offenders, I think quite different from male offenders.
Oh, in
Women
what way?
offenders, when they go in the prison system and they come out, it's really tough because you've been away from family, you've been away from children. There's a lot of expectations for you to take up a lot of roles immediately.
Yes,
So this is where when they are in our space, then we support them through it lah.
interesting. Now I have an idea what Rise Above is about, right? But it's not often lah that maybe I can't say for everybody else, but I don't hear a lot about halfway houses, let alone a woman halfway house, right? So I don't have a mental picture of how it looks like their everyday routines, and what I have in mind is basically macam pesantren.
Pesantren.
Am I right to say that? I don't know. So how does it look like?
I mean, I for me personally, I have been in boys' home and things like that. So I don't really have an idea. Also, same like Farah. I think maybe our listeners also might not understand how it functions. This halfway house, is it like macam like regimental ke? Everybody every morning wake up Majulah Singapura, things like that. How is it like?
Sorry. It won't be a pesantren because it's not. Even though it's run by PPIS, it's really for all the women, and I think that's the beautiful thing because they get to practice what they are. So it works like a structured hostel. Where they do stay and communal living with other women. When they come, they will get adjusted. So there are certain routines lah, standard the meal times. And there are curfews that they need to abide by so that they do return to the halfway house. But there will be other programs. So some of them, I think, in terms of preparing for work, preparation of resumes, a lot of basic necessities when you come out from prison, you have to start, setting your Gmail account, getting your bank accounts ready, preparing your resumes, going for upskilling, just being ready for work. There's a lot of processes to it lah. Yeah. Then we also promote independent living. So they do chores to clean up the space, kemas rumah.
Yeah.
So you imagine like rumah you kena jaga kan. So in a setting of a halfway house is a rumah maybe 20 times bigger. With a few different facilities. There is family visits room, there is an activity room. We do have a courtyard. There are kitchen spaces. There's a dining pantry. There are the bathroom facilities.
She's painting the picture for me. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a bigger hostel.
I see.
Yeah. So and in the kitchen itself, we do encourage the women to cook their meals. So they have a roster. So we will appoint ICs.
Right.
They will do like a roster of who cooks which day, who does housekeeping duties, and then they will have to rotate.
Right.
And then we'll do the ordering of ingredients, and then again they will cook.
Right.
Yeah.
Who sets the menu for the day?
They will set it.
Oh really? Amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
So we will give them guidelines. We have to keep it economical.
Okay.
Right? Because it's running a space for many women. But they do get a choice. And I think this is part of the trauma-informed practice.
Okay.
When women are given a choice, you give them a certain structure, let them do their thing. And that's how they start to take ownership on their lives.
Right.
Yeah. Because a lot of them, I mean, they are coming out trying to rebuild their lives.
Right.
Yeah. So this is really giving a space where they get to do that.
Yeah, I think the Rise Above really gave them a holistic kind of support. And also, I'd love to ask you, like, as a center manager, right? Through your eyes, you walk the grounds of the center, right? And you have face-to-face interactions with these women. So, in your eyes, when you talk to these women, what are some of the struggles that you notice or you witness?
Actually, a lot of the women, they enter the system because of circumstances.
Circumstances.
So when we talk about circumstances, some of them have childhood of trauma, histories of abuse, quite strenuous family situations. And because of the multiple instabilities, sometimes they do get led astray by partners. or by people around them lah.
Influencers.
Bad influence.
So, and when the women try to come out of that, they really need community support. Yeah, because you kind of need to
break away from the people around them.
right, break away from environment. You know, give them good women role models. Show them that, you know, this is how you can make more wholesome decisions in your life.
Right.
There's a lot of things I think we also learn through interacting with them, because you realize that there's a lot of things you take for granted.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that I always hear when we meet families, and we tell them, hey, your family member is going to be and please rise above, you know. Then one of the things they ask, oh, can we visit? Can we touch?
Oh, can they?
Because if let's say in SPS, in prison for example,
Right.
from what I understand is you cannot touch, you can have physical contact, you meet only for a certain amount of time, you need to make arrangements. How is it like then?
So for us, there is a certain time that we give, but definitely more than prison visits. We will allocate slots, then they can book. Yeah, so they do get the feelings. They can eat together, they can interact, they can touch, hug. Yeah, so those are some of the basic things that sometimes we take for granted lah.
We take for granted, like what Saleha mentioned, saying bye to each other, you know, salam tangan sebelum keluar pergi kerja and things like that. But these are the instances that adds value to them for those that are going through this halfway house. You know, they know that this physical touch and all that is so-called like a limited quantity.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege that they get when they get in place on a community-based program like Rise Above. Yeah.
These women macam products of their circumstances, right? And what is important is that the community supporting them. So in your eyes, do you think us as a community can do more? And how do we actually support these women? Because like if we have like a relative or maybe our growing niece or nephew, you know, and you start to see their behavior change, we don't want them to end up at the tail end of, you know, a circumstance. So how can we as a family, as a friend, support these people lah?
Excellent question. Actually, just now I want to ask the listeners,
I like that.
as well as the host, like within our family members, within our peers, do we know someone who's been incarcerated? Tak kira lah perempuan ke lelaki, kan? Do we know someone? And how do we understand, or is it like a far story, a distant story that we usually macam avoid lah, ataupun dia bekerja kat overseas?
Usually we just hear whispers. We don't know the real story.
Right.
It's just like
I mean, I do know of people who, you know, have gone through that, and then they look normal like us and things like that. So we don't know that they went through it. But at the same time also, yeah, like what Farah mentioned, people are whispering about it. You hear say, you know, certain kinds of things, and then we tend to naturally have a bit of judgment about, okay, what could they possibly have done? Kadang-kadang for us pun kita tanya, what you do to you know, to get incarcerated, is that?
actually, if I can be very honest also, as a person, right, macam interacting with quote unquote an ex-convict, there is, for me personally, there is a fear also. Like I don't want to overstep, or I don't want to macam anger. Like I have this.
Do I ask the question that I ask? Is it too sensitive?
Yeah, I don't want to offend. I don't want to get in trouble.
Takut nanti asal kau kepo-kepo nak tanya.
Yeah.
So
macam, instead of like macam, what can I do to help you, to support you? I'm just like, okay, mind my own business lah. Yeah.
Is it considered like sort of like a stigma around the community nowadays?
I can imagine, and I think it's quite normal lah, because incarceration is very personal. You know, but in families, you suddenly macam dengar, but how involved or how much do you want to know, right? And why is it your business to know? And what can you do? So your question is excellent. I think more people should ask this question. Yeah,
okay.
What can we do? What as a community can we do? So I think the first is really to overcome this mindset lah. This mindset of stigma, this mindset of them and us. You know, and some of them, like you say, maybe they look normal, they can blend. Some of them, they have like heavy tattoo all over their body, their neck, their face, you know. But I think the first is really seeing them as persons, as humans,
As they are.
and then overcoming their mindset. Yeah, and because if we are very like concerned about you know, the fear, right? It will also impact how we relate. Yeah, and it'll be awkward lah, because then they can sense it, right? So then you sensitive, dia sensitive.
Dia macam walking on eggshells.
Yeah. So one of the things that is easiest is really just relating to them as fellow human beings, as fellow brothers and sisters. Yeah, where they are persons, and really asking them, are you okay? And asking them, do you mind? How was your experience? Tapi if it's not comfortable, it's okay. You don't have to share. You know. And I think putting it out there that you're not just wanting to know their story, but what kind of support that they need.
Right.
I think it's just the feeling of being seen, being validated, knowing that, susah cari kerja, what have you tried? You know what kind of things would help you?
Right.
What kind of assistance do your families need? You know, if you are in prison, who's supporting your family members?
Right.
Who was there for them when you were away? You know, things like this. It's those little things that we can do to reach out so that they're not seen as a them and us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's very important because, of course, when it comes to human nature, kita tend to have like judgment. We place judgment upon whoever that we see on the first outlook. But at the same time, also to understand where they're coming from. I mean, we talk about on a day-to-day basis also. We do not want to be judged. You know, we want to be accepted by our friends and peers. What more people who who have gone through something that is difficult to them. Then sometimes it's not even something that they ask for. You know, and then they are going through this, and then if they were to be shunned by society and things like that, it's harder for them to reintegrate back to society, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is one of the misconceptions that we touched on, but we are going to touch on a bit more later. But before that, kasi Nizam tau. Daripada tadi.
Dah praktis banyak kat rumah. Tak tahu.
So Nizam. So just now we were talking about how this collaboration is very important, right, for Rise Above. So if you could explain to us, how does these fundraising efforts actually directly impact these women's lives?
Yeah, I think just to echo what I mentioned earlier, Rise Above is just one of the 3 core services that we have. But of course, the funds that are channeled to Rise Above, they use it for their programs and services that is useful for them to reintegrate back into the society. And I've actually visited the center once, and you see the day-to-day operational activities that they run lah. So you take a look at their kitchen, you see they actually need these funds to actually, because you need to understand that this center run 24/7, you see. So you need to cover operational expenses like the food,
Right.
the electricity, and all these funds are actually helpful for them because it's just how little acts of kindness adds up lah. Yeah. On the topic of Rise Above, I think CM Saleha has already covered quite a fair bit lah. So just would like to touch that. Again, we have 11 centers all around Singapore. We have a lot of services. Family services, student care, and Rise Above as well. So when you donate to a charity like PPIS, it may seem like you're just giving money, but I would like to emphasize that it's really so much more than that lah. So it's more than just a transaction of funds from one account to another, but you're actually investing and transforming the lives of women, families, and children in need as well. And Alhamdulillah, at PPIS, I've seen firsthand how the donations has impacted the lives of our clients and beneficiaries. So for your information, last year alone, PPIS has empowered more than 34,000 beneficiaries with crucial assistance from casework, family therapy, fostering, and education lah. So this is how our donations really impact the lives of others lah.
Right.
Well, I tengah tutup aurat lah, but if you could see my goosebumps just of 34,000.
Wow,
Yeah,
mashallah. So do you want to be part of that group that helped the 34,000 guys? You know what to do. Yeah.
You can actually directly impact these people's lives, like Nizam said, transform their lives for the better.
Yeah, you never know the fund that you donate could be for their next community meal that they cook in the kitchen. You tahu dia nak masak nasi ayam, you tahu your donation was enough to buy for them their chicken. You never know. Pahala tu.
Hey, Ustaz.
Inshallah. Yeah. So basically for the fundraising and all that, it's a all year round kind of donations.
Yes, all year round donations, but of course from time to time we'll have our campaigns lah. Like what we have now is our PPIS Ihsan Ramadhan. It's
Mm.
our annual signature fundraising campaign held during the blessed months of Ramadan and Shawwal. So for the theme this year is Sinari Impian or illuminate dreams. That's where we tell the donors that their donations will actually illuminate the dreams of our beneficiaries, rise above challenges and overcome adversities, and of course give back to community at the end of the day.
Right. Bila I first heard of Sinari Impian kan, I ingat macam it's like a Sinar Harapan, Sinar Lebaran kind of show. I was like, I want to go for this. Then when I read more into it's not a live show. It's not a live show. It's a program. It's a what do you call it? Donation drive. Is it called
It's a team lah.
Team. Yes, a team. Yes, mashallah. So, minta maaf I had the Sinar Lebaran in my head. Tak sabar nak raya katnya.
So of course you can do your contributions if you see the banner kat bawah ni. You know, you can scan the QR code if there is one, or if not, you can go to ppis.sg/
PIR.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to the misconceptions.
Yes. Misconception apa ini?
Okay, the misconceptions, right? These are very curious lah personally. I would say I have been very sheltered. So my interactions with people compared to you, I would say, right, is limited lah because I'm very sheltered, right? So
Sekarang pun lagi shelter. You're always at home. Macam itu.
what? What's up? But yes, anyway, the misconception that maybe one of the misconception that I have right now lah, that I can just throw on the table right now is that when we berdepan dengan this woman, right, in Rise Above, I would think that is like very like tough love. Macam you do mistake Rira, you push up right now, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh wow. Military terus.
Yeah, because I don't really know. Yeah, so that's I guess the misconception that I have.
Before you get to that kan, I have a pre-question to that.
Oh, pre-question.
Because I want to understand for Rise Above kan, is it like a voluntary basis or they can choose their halfway houses? Because you mentioned earlier there are a few different halfway houses in Singapore, but Rise Above is the first secular for female, right? So do they get to choose to go to Rise Above, or how is it like?
They get chosen.
They get
They get chosen.
Okay.
You are
So-
the chosen one.
Basically, I believe the prison system have their own system of which program, which space to send their inmates to. So those selected for community-based programs like the halfway house, usually they are able to work,
Okay.
and sometimes they need support connecting with their families.
I see.
Usually, and I'm sure there are other other guidelines also lah, whether it's conduct apa kat dalam, which is but basically they will be identified to be placed lah.
Right. Placement gitulah.
Chosen one.
Right. Yeah. So in a way, it's still, if you guys contribute to this cause, you guys will help them. Because Saleha mentioned about family kan, I'm very sensitive about family. So you can help them connect with the family better lah. Inshallah.
Correct.
With the programs that you can come up with under Rise Above.
Yeah.
InsyaAllah.
And research has actually shown that when you help women uplift the lives of women, when they are stable, when they are able to care for themselves, when they are able to work, when they are able to function, when their mental state are in a better state, they are better for their children, they're better for their families and community and society as a whole. Yeah, because that's the role of women, right? Like, yeah.
Naturally.
Okay, another curious question, right?
Tadi soalan you tak jawab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's answer that question first.
Yes. Mine was
Lots of
a
questions.
pre-question to your question. Because I was holding that question from the start. And then you never let me talk.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Guys.
Macam in my mind, when you deal with troubled children or things like that, you have to be tough and strict on them. Yeah. Does it work actually?
Okay, definitely not military standard. I think it's always about balance.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a certain level of discipline and order.
Okay.
Like in order to have like a home and a house, there must be certain routines, certain rules. Like okay, where the cat can go, where the cat cannot go.
Yes.
You know, what time are meal times? Okay, lepas makan, nolak meja. There are certain standards that we need to have. So in terms of discipline and order, we need to set the expectations straight.
Right.
But thereafter, the engagements. When, for example, rules are not followed, then these are the engagements, these are the softer side that we need to find out, hey, what happened?
Okay.
How come you couldn't adhere to curfew? How come you were supposed to do your duty, you're supposed to cook but you didn't? Or how come buat laundry pun boleh gaduh?
Okay.
Or how come you didn't want to take up this work? You know, there's a lot of micro decisions in life. Yeah, so some of these things require coaching guidance.
I see.
So that's the engaging part that is very crucial in a female halfway house. And I have to give credit to the team at Rise Above for really pouring their heart and soul to ensuring that they try to find this balance all the time. Yeah, and it's never a tough love or or enabler. Like it's
a good mix.
It's always trying to find a balance.
So basically the team rise above. See what I did now? Our joke.
Jadilah.
Jadilah.
Yeah, but I think I just want to echo what Saleha mentioned earlier. We have a large team at PPIS, and whenever we meet the team at Rise Above, you see them like the happiest people on earth lah. But I think that actually shows how fulfilling the job is lah at Rise Above.
Yeah,
They don't just go there to serve their role, but they put in their heart and soul.
And
yes.
a shout out also
Yes, let's go.
to the rest of PPIS, because I think there is no way Rise Above can function without all of their support.
But just now, so I want to just highlight just now what Saleha said. Twice in the duration of our conversations, right? She mentioned how come, and the other one is to get to know why. So I think this common theme is very important to take away. This woman, products of circumstances or troubled or need guidance and coaching, it has to come from a place where you want to really know what's going on in their lives in order to reach them.
Right.
Right. You have to be compassionate.
Yeah.
Right.
Not so much of you punish the action, but you need to find out the root cause of why they do what they did.
Right. And they have served their punishment, right?
Right.
They have spent a number of a period of time. For some, they were a few years away from family, away from loved ones, not being able to see their kids grow. So, and that is a lot already out of women, you know. So when they're trying to rebuild, if we're not giving the support, then they may fall back into their old ways. Yeah, and that's the struggle, right? That's the struggle. So the question is, how and what are we doing as a community to engage them, to be there for them, to create pathways so that they can find new ways of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask just on the second question,
yes,
question.
okay, let's go.
You said something about if the mental well-being of the woman is okay, is stable, everything else will be all well, inshallah, right? So in your experience interacting with them, how is their mental wellness? What is inside their heads? Macam, I want to
Maybe
know
I have a add on to that question.
Okay.
Like, how then do you see the change from their mental wellness from the start when they first entered Rise Above, and then
6
the
months
transition
later,
6 to 12 months later? How is it different for them?
I think generally when you come from a very enclosed space, you know, prison is very limited
Interaction.
movement, interaction. Your mind also becomes more closed lah. Although, I mean, there are good, I think good rehabilitation programs that prepares them, but they're really in a secure space, you know. And when they come out to the community, the first stage is always a lot of adjustment.
right, adjustment period.
And that's when the gush of things, right? Macam everything you want to do, you will feel like everything is urgent. You know, that you want to do. And what they really need is to pace themselves, to prioritize, and to stabilize.
Right.
So figuring out, okay, what are the things I need to do? Okay, then to take it one step at a time. And because they come to a structured facility like ours, we are able to pace them. Because we've paced so many women, we kind of know, okay, this is the adjustment phase. Okay, so this is what you need to do. You need to follow, and we will guide you, you know, step by step. And then slowly we'll facilitate the different needs for them. So after we take them through their needs, the next stage is to get a mindset shift. Right.
Mindset
I mean,
shift,
it's always the start throughout the starting phase, because the mindset shift is not just about getting things done. The mindset shift is how different you want your life to be. Right. So do you go back to your old peers? Do you go back to your old comfort zones? How do you stay away from your old habits?
Right. To
How
struggle.
do you not fall into what led you to a life of crime, or what were your pitfalls?
Okay.
How do you recognize those triggers? So it's also not just getting them to reflect on it, it's creating space for positive experiences.
Wow.
So some of the things that we are able to do because of the good work of our partners, our fundraising team and all, is because we are able to give different experiences. So our ladies get to, when you talk about women wellness, right? We facilitate medical appointments for them. We run health screenings. We bring in partners to run talks for them. We even had like volunteers doing yoga in Rise Above.
Wow, yoga.
We brought them out recently for a futsal competition.
Wow.
Last year netball.
Nice.
They had spin cycling.
Oh,
Yeah,
we used to spin cycle for a while.
Yeah.
It was tiring.
Yeah. So, and we have different, they go for makeup classes.
Oh, interesting.
For grooming to learn. Because especially for women, right? So, and it's really a variety of things that they get to experience that otherwise they won't. And I think quite a number of them have said, sometimes even simple things, like when sponsors bring in like, a trip to Esplanade, like a concert tickets, and they manage to get. And some of these things like really value add. They'll be like, this is the first time I attended this.
Wow.
Tickets to Garden by the Bay. For us, it's like, beli je lah.
Right.
But for them, it's like, next time I can bring my family here. Yeah.
It
So,
opens up doors for them also in a sense.
correct. So it's socializing them in a space that is pro-social. Yeah. So we call it pro-social, basically good social.
Good social. Yes.
Yeah. So what are good social habits? What are good social activities and environment? Going to East Coast Park. Yeah. So these things like seem normal, but it's just populating them with experiences so that they can stay away from negative habits.
Faham. Because that was all they knew, right? They didn't have the opportunity. Like you said, some of them don't even get to go to Gardens by the Bay. So Rise Above is essentially like Saleha said, populating their experiences. So they actually feel macam, oh my god, this feels good actually.
Right.
Right. So they don't go terjebak balik dekat dalam,
In a way also it's like breaking the cycle for them. Like,
Yeah, breaking the cycle.
Yeah, break the cycle.
Hashtag. So aggressive, sorry.
Because I feel that we have seen a lot of movies and things like that, if let's say they don't have this kind of programs catered for them, the moment they come back out into society, the only thing that they know is what they knew before they went in. So if let's say there's no change in whatever their habits are, they naturally, it could fall back to the same pattern again. Yeah,
And the environment. Yeah, so
environment.
the environment is very important for them to feel safe. So we talk about how they need to be psychologically safe, emotionally safe, and physically safe. Right? So the environment provides that because it's structured and there are officers around. You have to report. There's a certain level of discipline. So that also creates a sense of safety, such that I think we've had a number of residents who felt very heavy-hearted. Although some of them, of course, would love to graduate from the premise, but there's some of them who really felt that they were very safe at Rise Above.
Inshallah. Do you have any specific particular one that
like
you could share?
mentioned graduates, right?
Like how their journey has
The
been
success story
transformed.
basically.
Yeah, by Rise Above.
I think we're very grateful to have met. I am very grateful to have met.
Oh no, you're getting emotional.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. This is what Rise Above does. They pour out their heart and soul, and you can see it right
Yes.
now, live on the camera. MashaAllah. If I play the sad song now,
I think this is a testament to Rise Above work, and I think this you can see to our donors out there. I think this is how fulfilling the job is, and you are part of this lah.
Yes.
you help them. You help them fulfill this task that they have.
That's true.
They're
So
taken
come on, insiders, let's be part of this amazing, beautiful collaboration and help these women.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me try. Okay. I think I've been very blessed to have met a lot of the individuals
Inshallah.
since we operationalized in 2022. I think we've witnessed like them reconnecting with families. Sometimes long lost families. Some of them having supervised sessions with their children.
Wow.
We facilitated like our residents to go visit relatives who are in hospitals,
Wow.
family members who passed away,
Wow.
children. Some of them attended their children's parent-teacher conference.
Oh wow. It's a good milestone for them.
One
also.
of my residents started a savings plan with her kids.
Oh.
Another one, because she attended a financial literacy course. I've had another who, not one, quite a few attended like their children's like award ceremony in schools. So these are things that we're very happy to facilitate. And I think it's very heartening to know that they are making the effort, you know, and this is where they need all the support they can get.
Yes.
Yeah. And if I can share one story about progress, we had a resident who was quite estranged from her family.
Okay.
So didn't have that much family support. And occasionally we do have such residents. And she didn't have much experience in life. Low skill, low education. Only had, when I asked her, you know, what employment experiences you have, she was only in like laundry services.
Okay.
She didn't know anything else. But when she came, she really wanted to change, and she spoke about how this time will be different. And she was very disciplined. What she needed to do, she fulfilled. She really carried out whatever task she needed to do. And she was hired by an F&B outlet. And she stayed on with them for a while. And a year later, because they saw potential in her, right? And her level of discipline, she was groomed to start up her own outlet.
Oh, mashallah.
So now she owns a stall in a company's cafeteria.
Wow, mashallah.
Wow.
Yeah.
From
that's a
low
plus.
skill and all that,
Mashallah.
now she's a like so-called like a branch manager.
Yeah.
Wow, mashallah. That is definitely a big jump.
Yeah.
And I would say that, you know, Rise Above helped that lah kan. Mashallah,
So
mashallah.
sometimes I get calls from residents, like former graduates, and then they'll be like, ma'am, I mean they call us ma'am lah. So they'll be like, ma'am, kita baru promoted tau, you know, at their workplace. And I think that's good. Then it's a testament. Then I was very heartened when they call, because they don't have to call me, right?
Yeah, technically graduate already. Yeah?
Yeah, they don't have to call me, they don't text me, or my colleagues. But Alhamdulillah, when they contact us, it shows that we have provided a safe space. And we have encouraged them. And it's not just us, it's everybody who's the whole community that's pumping in to this cause. And I think that's the most wonderful bit about it. There's not just us.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
whole
we have
community.
right. So, and this lady who have her own F&B outlet now, I mean a stall, she, like I mentioned, she was quite estranged from family. But through the stay at Rise Above, she developed very strong relationships with some of the peers. And one of them actually offered her to stay at their home. So now she's like a tenant there while she built up her savings to apply for her own flat.
Wow.
mashallah. She found a new family in a sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so nice.
PPIS empowering women.
Yeah, mashallah.
And this all begins from a simple financial literacy class, correct?
Oh yeah.
The one that you mentioned earlier. So you see how impactful these sponsored programs are. So we take things for granted, like excursions to Gardens by the Bay, Singapore Flyer, all these things besok pun boleh buat, right? But you don't know how precious these
Moments are.
opportunities are for the women in Rise Above lah.
Right.
Right.
And it really promotes positive growth, mindset changes, movie outings, just so many that we can do. You know, simple things to us, but
It means a lot more to them.
yeah, definitely.
Maybe for Nizam, you can share with us a bit more about, you know, the psychology, the psychology behind, you know, donating or being a contributor to these funds, especially for PPIS?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned earlier in this segment, a lot of people perceive that donating is just giving money and the journey stops there. But every contribution, big or small, actually adds up to a lifetime of positive change lah. I think in this series we have covered quite a fair bit on Rise Above and our family services. So maybe I'll just touch on an experience that I have with our student care centres, which is one of our core services as well. So we have two in Singapore, one in the east and one in the west. So these student care centres, they serve as a before and after school care for families who have no alternative care arrangement lah. Especially for low income groups and for single parents. So this is actually in this student care centres, they provide a variety of programs. So for example, homework supervision, tuition programs. They provide nourishing meals, they provide camps and enrichment classes as well. So back to the impact of your donation, just to share an experience that I have just recently, I mean 2 to 3 months back, in line with our current campaign, right? PPIS Ihsan Ramadhan, which is themed after Sinari Impian, or Illuminating Dreams. So I went to this center, one of the centers, and I asked a particular student she's probably 9-10 years old. So I asked a question, student, what do you want to be when you grow up? So she answered, I want to become a teacher. And I asked why. And the answer that she gave, I was so amazed and pleasantly surprised, because she said, I want to become a teacher because I want to give back to the community.
Oh, mashallah.
Yes,
9 years old.
At such a young age, you see. And these are the small little things that add up. So today, for instance, if you donate $10, right, you provide 2 nourishing meals for the students at the care centers. But your $10 is not merely putting food on the table. You're opening up multiple doors of opportunities for this kind of students. So when you donate, you don't just your journey don't just stop there. Perhaps you're also creating the leaders of tomorrow. Yeah. So these are the kinds of impact that PPIS bring to our students, and I really would like to encourage all our donors and our listeners out there to contribute towards our current campaign. And of course, it really adds up, little acts of kindness. So for instance, today is the time of technology. So apart from donating money itself, you can simply just share, spread the word about our campaign, go visit our Instagram page, spread the word, and it starts from there. So the moment you start spreading the word about program services, you're doing a little act of kindness already lah.
Mashallah. And it's as simple as tapping a button.
Correct.
Yeah. And on top of that, you can volunteer with PPIS too.
Yes, we've heard about that. And you never know, you might see our faces more as volunteers with PPIS.
They can just go to the website and find out how, is it?
And register as a volunteer.
Register as a volunteer.
ppis.sg.
Correct.
Inshallah.
So there are different volunteering opportunities as well. At student care centres, other PPIS events. We have women events as well. Rise Above. Basically, you can share what you want to volunteer in, what's your interest, what's your talent, and then you can give back.
Inshallah.
Maybe you can be a singing instructor.
Tiba.
You teach me what? So you can teach others also.
Inshallah.
Maybe
it can be a program.
A new program,
Rise
right? We'll talk about that after this. Okay, apart from the all these volunteering services that we can volunteer our strength and time to, are there anything that we can look forward to that PPIS has in store for us?
Right. So besides the PIR campaign, Rise Above is making an appearance at a Ramadan Bazaar.
Ramadan Bazaar.
This is a first for us. But we've been invited by Yellow Ribbon Singapore to host an activity booth. So our residents will be coming down. Durang ada shift. So they'll be coming down to provide instant henna services.
I cannot.
For the public.
It's for ladies. For Hari Raya.
And at the same time, we will be selling our collaterals. So you get first tips on some of our coasters. We have our Sampul Raya by PPIS. And these are artworks that are co-designed by our residents.
Mashallah.
When is this bazaar?
So this happening 21st to 23rd of March
21st
It's
to 23rd.
the third week of Ramadan.
at OTH, our Tampines Hub.
Our Tampines Hub. So insiders, come on down. You
You'll
can
be
meet
there the whole day?
Yes, 12 to 8.
12 to 8. Nice.
Ladies out there, show support for your fellow ladies.
I think it's like the last week also, right? So you can get your henna for Raya, in time for Raya. You know?
Tak boleh lah.
Not you, I say woman.
Nak feeling nak support sangat kan. But okay, insyaAllah you guys can come down to OTH, our Tampines Hub, to get your henna for your hands, and then also to get some of their artworks that's done and co-designed by the residents of Rise Above.
Correct.
Yes.
But
Mashallah.
if all else is the littlest you could do is just click. You see this episode, right, on Spotify or YouTube, there's a link. Just click.
There's a link.
And you can do make your contributions there,
Like
inshallah.
Nizam mentioned, a little act of kindness goes a long way. Inshallah. You create the ripple effect. You never know that ripple can create bigger wave. I'm starting my analogy again.
MashaAllah, for this episode,
Mashallah.
we have learned a lot of what Rise Above does and how the fundraising actually that really impact these women's life and transform, empower their lives, right?
Okay.
So this is what PPIS is all about, right? Inspiring women,
Strengthening families. So once again, thank you Saleha, thank you Nizam for coming on to our show. With that, we shall all say the tagline once again. 1, 2, 3.
Inspiring women, strengthening families.
We've come to the end of another episode of Outside In.
If you like what you hear, please follow us on all our socials, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify and YouTube.
Share it to all of your friends and family members so that they can benefit from this episode. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Till next time. Assalamualaikum.